I mean to say it infects us in our most basic integrity. It says we can't be moral without Big Brother, without a totalitarian permission. You're a child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
Lost a Facebook friend today. I'm going to mispronounce her name, I'm sure. Ellen Beth Watch. It's spelled W-A-C-H-S. And I always kind of looked up to her as a staunch advocate for human rights. But today we got into a verbal battle. Well, if you want to talk about typing as a verbal battle over Islam. And she fails to understand how it's not just a few people that are evil in this cult. She thinks that the terrorists are a completely different animal than the cult itself, and that just a few people that are doing harm in the name of Allah are to blame for all the horrible acts being done in the name of Islam. Just a few people. Why blame millions of people for what just a few people do? The conversation got me upset, and I stopped reading the thread, and I sent her a private message, and I told her, I can't believe that for a moment you would defend Islam. And ultimately she called me a hater and unfriended me. I am a hater of Islam. I'm a hater of anything that oppresses people in any way. I hate it. I hate cancer. I hate heart disease. I hate MS. I hate AIDS. I hate anything that hurts people. I hate bullies. I hate murderers. If it's possible to hate people that you don't even know, which I don't know if that really is possible, but I think it is possible to hate a cult or a disease that causes harm. I hate Islam because I see it causing harm. Then I tried to tell her, is it extremists that are causing the mass rape epidemic in Europe of non-Muslim women? Is it terrorists and extremists who are going out in UK, the streets of Europe, and with these shari'a patrols trying to enforce shari'a law even on non-Muslims? Is it extremists and terrorists who went up to some girls on a beach in bikinis and attacked them for not covering up? Is it extremists and terrorists who marry off little girls and rob them of their childhood and sometimes cost them their lives because grown men who are twice to 3 times their age have sex with them before they're fully mature? Is it Islamic terrorists and extremists who beat their wives because the Quran says it's okay? Is it Islamic terrorists and extremists who kill gays or apostates or lock up atheists because they have a contradictory opinion or they dare to criticize Islam? Is it extremists and terrorists that stone women to death for non-crimes like adultery or perceived adultery or imagined up adultery, as in the case of shari'a? Or kill women for owning cell phones or driving cars? Is it extremists and terrorists that say that it's shameful for men to cover their heads, but it's shameful for women to not cover their heads? And separate women and men. I just had somebody on YouTube trying to defend this practice, separating women from men, because apparently if they're together, Allah doesn't hear the message as readily as if they're separate. Interesting, though, that the men are given the nice, big, fancy area to gather and pray, where the women are just put in some little room. I'm sorry, that description sticks with me. There's a mosque here in Seattle, and I was qualifying for a route, and the bus driver driving the bus pointed out this mosque and said he had a tour of it once, and he said, yeah, there's a really roomy, big area down on the first floor that the men go to pray, and you should see this little room up on the top of the building that they have for the women. I remember that description very well. Interesting that it's not the other way around. Why isn't the women down on the first floor having this vast room to pray? And why aren't the men shut up in some little room upstairs? Because this cult is created by men. It's a man-made cult. Of course, it's going to constantly show preferential treatment toward men. And for that, too, I feel hatred toward Islam. Because it seems like in every way women get the short end of the stick with this cult, as it is with all the Abrahamic beliefs. I don't think I'm a hateful person. I care about people. It makes me sad to see women or gays or anybody being oppressed. It upsets me. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. I don't believe in oppression. I don't believe in oppression of people. I don't believe in oppression of animals. I don't believe in oppression, period. I don't believe that one gender is better and more deserving of human rights than the other gender. I don't believe that one gender should have twice as much inheritance as the other gender. I believe that any cult that takes half the human race and puts them under the thumb of the other is evil. And any person who follows a cult like that, whether they are one of these people throwing stones or cutting off somebody's head or imprisoning somebody for not believing, or they're walking around with prayers on their lips and peace in their heart and giving this cult the credit for it, they're all supporting this thing. They're all putting money in the coffer. They're all telling their friends and spreading it. And I don't care if they think it's peaceful. Who's to say that some of the people they promote this cult to will look at it the same way? Maybe some of those people will look at it like, hey, look, it says right here in this book that we should terrorize the unbeliever. So while the peaceful Muslim might be spreading the peaceful message of Islam, one of the ones that this message touches could very well turn out to be another one of those people that look at the book and see the things that justify killing people and raping women and abusing little girls. So yeah, I think everybody who promotes this cult is adding to the problem, whether or not they think it's a peaceful religion. They are adding to the problem. They are spreading this thing. They don't know what somebody else is going to do with that peaceful message. They're going to take the ball and run with it, and they don't know where it's going to go. Maybe that same person down the road will be somebody who beats their wife because the book says it's okay. Yeah, I hate Islam. I hate Christianity. I hate Mormonism. I hate Jehovah's Witness, whatever. I hate every belief system that tries to subjugate and demean and belittle and dehumanize people, namely women, but not always just women. Gays are another favorite target. And with Islam, apostates also. Christianity doesn't think that, well, at least the modern take on Christianity doesn't teach that apostates should be killed. They're just not real. They were never real Christians. We'll just disown them completely. Never mind that they lived their entire life striving to be the ideal, the perfect Christian, what the Bible says they should be. Never mind that they prayed so many times a week, or went to church so many times a week, or did all the things they were supposed to do, and looked upon Jesus as their best friend and God as their Father in heaven. Never mind all that. If they become non-believers, oh, well, they were never Christians. That's how Christianity treats apostates. They just rub them out. They take an eraser and erase them. They never existed. They weren't real. That's what Christianity does. Islam's a little more severe toward their apostates. I hate religion. There are a few exceptions that I don't actually hate. I don't hate paganism. Although I do think that there's probably violence and destruction in the history of paganism too. But modern paganism, I don't see it. Just like there's a lot of violence in Buddhism, in the history and whatever of Buddhism, modern Buddhism, I don't see it so much. Wicca, I don't see violence there. Just try going online and finding a website where you can pay to have an evil spell put on somebody you hate. Try it. Good luck with that. It's almost impossible to find any person who claims themselves to be a witch or somebody who does spells who is willing to do anything evil with their beliefs. It's pretty darn hard to find a dark witch, in other words. It's the Abrahamic cults, it's the Abrahamic religions that I see that have caused so much harm. We look at our perceptions of women today, the typecast, whatever, women's roles versus men's roles. This is a traditionally women's job versus what a traditional man's job is. Where did those ideas come from? Where did the ideas come from that men are the protectors of women? Why is it so horrible for a man who owns a motorcycle to even conceive of the idea of riding behind a woman on a bike? I mean, it's like, oh my God, horrible. You see women on the back of a motorcycle behind a man rider, right? You see the woman as the passenger. That's so normal. Has anybody seen a woman driving the bike and a man behind her? Why is that? Where do these ideas come from? Why not the idea that the woman might be the protector of the man sometimes? I mean, we really have no evidence to show that back in the olden days when men and women were living in caves, that the man went out and hunted and protected for the family and the women were the gatherers of food. We have really no evidence to show that, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure there's no evidence to show that women did not hunt too alongside of their men. And if something was attacking the cave, we have no evidence to show that the woman didn't also pick up a spear and try to defend her children with it. Instead of cowering in the cave with the little ones, hoping the man will save her. Anyway, I just think a lot of our stereotypical whatever ideas of what is ladylike versus what is manly come from these cults. We have been molded like clay by these cults. When I hear the term ladylike, I really just want to puke. Why not just like a good person, like a good and kind person? You're not acting like a good and kind person instead of, well, you're not acting very ladylike. What exactly is ladylike? Again, putting people in these little boxes and putting labels on people. And what exactly is manly? What is that exactly? Can a gay person be manly? Can a tomboy be ladylike? I don't like labels, and I don't like cults that perpetuate these labels, because labels are what separate us, and labels are what causes intolerance and hate. And if I'm a hateful person at all, it's inspired by what I see happening to people that don't deserve to have bad things happen to them. It's inspired by the fact that I don't like things that oppress and hurt people. I don't like diseases. I don't like a rabid animal that's killing people. I don't like religion that causes harm. And most of them do. I think, if you were to number all the religions in the world, I think the majority of those would, in some way. I'm not an expert. I don't know what all the religions are in the world. I'm thinking all the patriarchal religions, though, are very likely harmful to women, naturally, because they were man-made. They're going to favor men. There's preferential treatment there for men because, hey, what do you know? Men invented them. Anyway, this is just kind of me having a rant. I feel bad. I really liked Ellen Beth. I admired her. And I'm rather floored that she would defend Islam, because in my opinion, that is a very evil belief system. It isn't just the terrorists. It isn't just the extremists. All you have to do is just read the paper. All you have to do is look around and see all the things that are being done by ordinary Muslims just following what the Quran says. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to defend myself. I don't think I'm a hateful person. I don't feel like a hateful person. I get angry and sad and indignant whenever I see inequality in the world, justified in the name of some stupid God for which there's nothing to show it exists. I get angry about that.
I am absolutely convinced that the main source of hatred in the world is religion. And I think it should be religion treated with ridicule and hatred and contempt.